Hey there guys, Marissa here and welcome back to Rissa Roams. If you're new to the channel, my name, like I said, is Marissa, and in just a few short weeks I will be embarking on a northbound through hike of the Appalachian Trail. So today we're going to be talking about some gear swaps that I am making. My full gear video is coming out soon, I promise. I've just been waiting on those last minute small items to come in, but I promise it is on the way. It is going to happen. But after a couple shakedowns I've had and just camping in my backyard or some solo camping that I did earlier this week, I have made some changes to my gear kit, the gear that I've already showed you. So I just want to tell you about some of those changes and talk about why I made those changes before my full gear video comes out, and also as you see my upcoming shakedown hike videos, so you know what to expect. Also, just a fun little trivia piece here. I thrifted this flannel about 10 years ago, and then shortly after I purchased it, was watching a hit movie from the 90s and saw someone wearing this. So if you know what movie this flannel is featured in, comment down below, and I'll reveal it to you at the end of the video for sure. It's pretty funny. Okay, so the first two gear swaps that I'm making have to do with my pack. My pack is the REI Flash 55, and I love it, and I'm not changing it. I know it's not the lightest weight pack on the market, and that is okay with me. It does the job. I love the pockets on it. I think it's great, but there were a couple changes that I needed to make after hiking with this pack. For one, it comes with a cell phone pocket on the strap, and I think I mentioned in my Big 3 video that I might change that out because it wasn't very waterproof. So we did go with this lovely teal pocket from Trekker Joe's, and ultimately I decided to change to this not just because it's more weather resistant, but also the pocket that came with this pack was a very tight fit for my Pixel 7, I think is what I have. It was really tricky to get it in and out. I know a really popular choice is the Chicken Tramper Gear Co. Pocket for your phone. I didn't like that the zipper was on the front there. I felt like I was going to struggle to get it in and out like I did with the REI pocket. So I liked that this one had the zipper on the top. And it's nice and big and easy to get my phone in and out of. Another thing with this pack that I love are the forward-facing water bottle pockets. Now originally I had planned on just screwing my Sawyer squeeze onto my smart water bottles and just drinking from it. Unfortunately, with those forward-facing water bottle pockets, if I just leave my Sawyer squeeze on the smart water bottles, then the Sawyer squeeze is sitting in my armpit, and that wasn't going to work. So I decided that I would just filter my water from one bottle, from a dirty bottle into a clean bottle. The problem is, and it's not a big deal, but it's kind of a pain to filter from a smart water bottle. The air gets trapped in it. You have to squeeze it pretty hard. You usually have to unscrew and let it breathe. And so I did get this CNOC collapsible bottle, which is so much easier to squeeze the water out of. You don't have to air it out. And so yeah, just makes filtering water easier. I don't feel the need to get a full CNOC reservoir. Water sources are so frequent on the AT, and I think this is going to work for me. If I need a CNOC bladder, I'll get one, but for now we've just got the dirty CNOC bottle and a clean smart water bottle to drink out of. So that is that change. All right, and now we're getting into some bigger gear swaps. I had mentioned before that I might switch out my sleeping pad. The reason I initially said that is because I was having some issues with it deflating. We troubleshot those. It was just an issue. I wasn't getting the valve closed properly. So it didn't give me any more issues after that. But as I slept on it a couple times, I realized it just wasn't comfortable for me to sleep on. I had the women's Neo Air X Lite. The women's version is 5'6". I'm 5'4", so I did fit on it, but I like to stretch out, and I did just feel as though I was constantly like falling off of it. My feet were hanging off. It's the mummy shape. Another thing is I am a stomach sleeper, and when I sleep on my stomach on a mummy shaped pad, the only place for my arms to go are underneath my body, which is not comfortable. So I did decide to switch to the Nemo Tensor. Now this is the old version, the discontinued one. This is not the new all-season pad that they released. I got this from REI Resupply for half the price of what it retailed as. It was in excellent condition is what it was listed at, and honestly I'm not sure it's ever been used. The repair kit is still intact. The pump sack didn't look like it had ever been touched. And I have slept on this, and I will say it was so much more comfortable. Even the day I got it, I blew it up in my room and just laid on it, and I almost fell asleep right there. I like having the extra length. This is the regular rectangular. I like having the extra length, and I also really like having a little bit of extra room for my arms to be on the sleeping pad and not just falling off. Yeah, so it's not the wide, it's just the regular, but huge difference. Definitely had improved sleep with this, so happy with this gear change. All right, another change that I made. So in my clothing video that I released, I showed you my rain gear, and my rain gear was a red camp poncho. And I went for the poncho because I was having trouble finding a rain suit that fit my body, and I liked the idea of having a poncho that would also protect my pack in rain. I went with the red camp one because you could Velcro the sleeves to protect your arms, because most ponchos do just kind of cut off right here and then your arms are exposed. So I finally got the opportunity to go hike in the rain. It just hadn't worked out. I'd tried so many times. And it did not work for me. I'll insert some clips of that hike and what happened. But yeah, I got soaked and decided I really needed to invest in quality rain gear. All right, so the poncho was a no-go. When we first started out, my arms felt a little wet, but I thought that was just me sweating as we were getting going. That was not the case. Water was getting through. Once I took the poncho off, the inside was just wet. And you can also see my pack is wet, so it did go through that as well. So yeah, the poncho was not a success, but every gear fail is a movement in the right direction. I'm glad that we had this chance to get out here today and test the gear before I hit the trail, because yeah, I'm happy to know that now. And sure, it sucks to have to buy more gear and replace things, but I know that I will be better prepared for the trail because of this. So yeah. So I still really wanted a poncho type thing to protect my pack, and so I went for the Paca by Cedar Tree. Bad Bat Hikes used this last year, and she really seemed to enjoy it. She didn't have any issues with it. It's not the cheapest piece of gear, but I am excited to use it. It's actually supposed to be pretty rainy today, so I'm hoping to get out and try it. My one issue is I did order a small. The sizing goes by your height, and they sent me a medium. I'm not going to say anything about it. It's fine. It is an extra ounce, just kind of unfortunate, but I'm excited to try it. So if you don't know about the Paca, it is a pack cover and a rain jacket poncho thing. So it has the sleeves, but they're not Velcro, they are enclosed, and it zips up. which I really like. And so you can put it on your pack as a pack cover, and then once it starts raining, you can just like pull out the sleeves and zip it up and put it on. And I'm really looking forward to using this. I think it's going to be a great gear choice, and yeah, I'm excited to put this to use. I definitely think it's going to keep me drier than the poncho I had. Of course, everything's going to wet out at some point, and you're going to get wet from sweat, but with the poncho I had, my pack was getting wet, and I was only out there for less than an hour. And it wasn't raining very hard. And Bad Bat said her pack never got wet. So I'm gonna trust her word and see how this goes. But I'm excited for this gear change. It's heavier than the poncho that I had, but if it keeps me dry, it's worth it. All right, now we are getting to my two big gear swaps. These were hard decisions, and they are connected because when I made the decision for this next gear swap, I knew that I needed to make another change in order to have a comfortable pack. So, as people know, on my last shakedown hike, I had some issues with the bear hang. I still think bear hang can be a good option. I know people who can do it successfully and are great at doing it, and that's all well and good. I do know it's hard to find trees that actually work for it, and I also just know that I am someone who's going to get so frustrated trying to hang my bear bag every night. I have a terrible arm. I can't throw worth a flip. And so I knew ultimately what would bring me the most comfort and relieve stress, because it's already going to be a stressful time out there, is to do a bear canister. So controversial. I will never be ultralight. I'm so sorry. This seals the deal. But I have the Bear Vault 475. I've used it once already, and I gotta say, I really like it. It's so nice just putting my food in here, walking away from camp, sitting it down. I do suggest, wedging it under a rock or between, a fallen log or something, because a bear can still, roll this down a river, off a mountain. It comes with its own risks, but I know that I am just going to feel a peace of mind sitting this down, rather than every day struggling to throw a bear line in a tree. And if I decide that this is too heavy and I don't want to deal with it and it's just too much, I still have my bear bag kit, and I can have my mom send that to me if I feel that's necessary. But right now, I'm going with this, and I'm happy about it. I really do think that it's going to be low stress. This is recommended by the ATC and the Forest Service. This is what they suggest you do as far as food protection. And I am happy that, going forward, when I'm in places that do require a bear canister, I'm already going to have this. I'm not going to have to worry about that like 6 or 7 miles stretch between Girard Gap and Neal Gap. If I want to camp there, I can camp there because I've got the bear can already. And so, yeah, I am happy with this decision. And yes, it adds 2.3 pounds to my pack, which is not great. But it is what it is, and ultimately, if this relieves stress for me, then I think it's worth it. All right, so that leads me to my final gear swap. Adding 2.3 pounds to my pack meant I needed to cut weight somewhere. I didn't want to just add that weight without making any changes, because I didn't want to weigh myself down too much. So we all know, if you watched my shakedown hike that I posted, my tent flew away in the wind. That was not the tent's fault. I am not blaming the tent. I still think that the nature hike Cloud Up One is a good tent. I know people have hiked the entire Appalachian Trail with this. I know that it has withstood extreme wind and rain in Scotland. I've seen people test this piece of gear. I trust that it is good. That being said, it was just not for me. For one, it is over 3 pounds, which isn't terrible for a backpacking tent. But if I was going to add the bear can, I knew I needed to cut weight. And I will also say I was already thinking about switching tents because I just wasn't comfortable in that one. When I initially looked at it, I thought that it was a freestanding tent. The 2-person version is. The 1-person version is a semi-freestanding tent. And I did just feel very cramped in there with that semi-freestanding footprint. The way that it was very big towards the door, but then it angled back. And I just feel like I didn't have much headspace. I felt very cramped. No matter which way I laid, if I laid with my feet at the narrower end, then I felt like my quilt was always touching the side walls. Or if I slept the other way with my head in the narrower end, I just felt like it was closing in on me. And I just wanted more space. And it was a pain to get in and out of. So I was already kind of thinking about changing tents just to give myself a little more headspace and feel more comfortable sleeping in it. Once again, I don't think that it's a bad tent. I know that I chose a bad tent site. The ground was too soft, I didn't have my guy lines, and it was too windy, and that was on me. It is not on the tent. But all of that being said, needing to cut weight and wanting just a little extra headspace, I got the tent that I really wanted to begin with. So I have now the Durston X-Mid 1. I'm going to be testing this out tonight, but when it came in the other day, I pitched it in the front yard, and I already love it. I know I haven't slept in it yet, so we'll see how it goes. This is 28 ounces versus the over 3 pounds that the Cloud Up one was, so I'm definitely cutting weight there, for sure. And I love the doors. I love how tall the ceilings are. I love that the vestibules are so big. So even though I am losing some square footage inside the tent, it is smaller, like narrower all the way. I don't feel as cramped because I don't have like the rain fly right up against the mesh. So it feels roomier and I have more headspace. And I've got plenty of room to lay down. It's still big enough inside. That's not an issue. So I'm very excited for this tent. Like I said, I'm going to go test it out in the front yard tonight, and then I'll be testing it on another shakedown coming up very soon. But I'm so excited for this change. Like I said, it was really the tent I wanted to begin with, but I decided to go for a cheaper option and a safer option because I was a little nervous about the trekking pole style tent, but I gotta say it was so easy to set up. I felt like it went up way quicker than my Cloud Up one. So we are happy about this choice. At this time I don't have the ground sheet. I am gonna purchase it. I will say I don't know that I'm gonna start with it. Dan Durston actually says, I have a screenshot of a comment that he left somewhere, that they don't recommend using a ground sheet, that it is strong enough to last hundreds of nights. Those are his words. You know, when used carefully, as long as you're not, you know, being rough on it and on really rocky terrain. So I think starting out, I may not have the ground sheet with me, but I am going to go ahead and have it, and my mom can send it to me if I decide I need it, or once we get further north and we're dealing with rockier, rougher terrain that we're putting the tent on. So that is my big announcement. We switched to a bear can. We got the Durston X-Mid 1, and I'm really happy with these choices. I think ultimately it's going to alleviate stress and it's going to make me more comfortable on trail, and that is going to help me hike further. So that is what's going on, and I'm really excited. And for those of you who stuck around to the end, here is the reveal for what movie this flannel was featured in.
So you're telling me there's a chance?